Okay, so good morning and welcome to our webinar today. I know it is, and we are what, 6 days out from Christmas. So we are in crazy holiday hustle time. And I know some of us are already thinking ahead to creating an annual marketing plan. I know I am. I know a lot of the people in my circles are. So I wanted to squeeze this webinar in. And if you're catching it on the replay and you have any questions, feel free to send it out to me. Just take the time. Well, if you're watching it, if you're watching this, you've already taken the time. But giving yourself this time will really help anything you're doing with a marketing plan in the new year or whenever you get to it. So, welcome to the webinar, How to Create a Marketing Plan You'll Actually Stick to in 2025. It's going to be a really advantageous amount of information to help you get the most out of any marketing plan you start to build for yourself. I know that for a lot of us, we've done it before. We've built marketing plans and things just did not go. And because of that, it was one of those things where sometimes we can blame ourselves for it. We can run with the story in our heads that it was because we didn't do it right. But what I'm going to show you today is that as small business owners and solopreneurs, quite often it's not us that's the problem. It's the way the marketing plan has been presented to us and our approach to it. So that's what we're going to get into today. It's going to be probably just shy of an hour, 45 minutes around there. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them to the end, or if you come up with them later, feel free to email them to me. Also, I'm going to tell you about a program I have coming up for building marketing plans if anyone's interested. So here's our agenda today, and I'm just realizing they're red and green, which is perfect. So first, we're going to talk about the 3 common reasons that plans fail. Then we're going to talk about the 5 steps to create a plan that you'll actually stick to. Then we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end if anybody has any questions. I know I run a lot of webinars and workshops, so I know sometimes we just need to take the information in, and I'm sure everyone's brain is already full, as it is with holiday stuff. So if you don't have any, that's fine. Give yourself some time. Feel free to shoot me an email if something percolates up after the fact, right? So this is what we're going to go through together today. And first, I want to start you off with a story. This is a screenshot I took on Monday when I was in one of my group programs. And the lady here is Karu from Cha Cha Tea, which is a quality loose leaf tea shop in Kingston. She's a brick and mortar owner. She has been in business almost 20 years. Karu is a powerhouse of a woman. I have so much respect and admiration for her as a business owner. She started with me in January. She took my last annual marketing plan intensive. And since then, we've worked together one-on-one with some coaching. She was also part of my campaign boot camp. And with that plan she put together last January, life has been chaotic and there's been a lot of things she could not have anticipated. There's been a lot of things that have pulled her away from her business. There's been a lot of months where she felt like, oh, I had all of these plans and I was going to do all this and I'm falling short. But even with the imperfect action, even with the realities of being a person and a small business owner, Monday she told me how she had just had that weekend her highest revenue day after being open for almost 20 years. And that is 100% because of the plan she built in January and the consistent follow through, not perfect follow through, just consistently going back to it and taking small, manageable steps. She's watched her revenue grow across the year over and over, even though she feels like she's falling short. This is the power of marketing plans. Really want you to understand what we're talking about here today leads to genuine revenue. Marketing should always be tied to your business goals and your business growth. It's not meant to just be about followers or open or click rates, any of that. It's about revenue. And this is what following a marketing plan that you create for yourself will do for you. So regardless of how you do your marketing plan, whether you DIY it, whether you join a group program like mine, if you get a small business center to help you with it, remember to avoid the mistakes we're going to talk about, to take the steps we're going to talk about, and just to do it. There's so much power in marketing plans and business plans for us small business owners. And we're pulled in so many different directions that quite often it's one of the first things we kind of like check off the list. You're like, nope, I did that before. It didn't really bring me anything. I am not wasting time on that. So I want you to remember Karu's story and how much that's let her build. So let's go into who I am. My name is Cheyenne. I am a fellow solopreneur. I am a mom of three, and my mom owns a brick and mortar downtown. So my passion is in supporting independent businesses. This is my logo here. I am a marketing coach and consultant. My business name is CO Marketing. I work exclusively with independent businesses. I have been working as a marketer for over 6 years now. I'm professionally trained in marketing, so I approach it from a very high level point of view using frameworks and strategies. I am what's called a full stack marketer. I am not just niched into social media. I really understand the full view of marketing, which is really important for us independent business owners. We need to be able to manage it all. That's the reality of our business, which we're going to talk about that today. A little bit more about me. I have worked with over 150 business owners and solopreneurs. I've worked with B2B, B2C, nonprofit, brick and mortar, online, service-based, product-based, the whole range. And my longest running client is actually my very first client. And he's the owner of a gym in Trenton, here where I'm located. And we have been working together for 5 years, I think 6 years actually. And when we started together, the gym was about 5K a month in revenue. Since then, using marketing like this through COVID and all of the shutdowns, through the economic downturn, through some really big names moving into our market as competitors, we've grown that gym. We just hit our last target last month at 30K a month in revenue. That is what marketing can do for us small business owners. So, the top 3 reasons that plans fail. I will tell you now, if you had done this before and it didn't work, it is most likely not you. It's most likely your plan was impacted by one of these mistakes. Most marketing plans are designed for large organizations and large companies and large businesses. That's not us. We need marketing plans that work for us. So these are the things you want to avoid when you're looking ahead into planning your 2025, which is insane to say, marketing plan. Usually these are the mistakes. So they're too complicated and they're bloated. Nobody needs a 50-page marketing plan. Nobody on our level needs a 50-page marketing plan. They aren't realistic for small business owners. They're not manageable for the reality of what it is to be a small business and to market our small business. And this is a really big one. Through more than just marketing in business in general, there's no system for accountability. Everybody I know that is successful in business, we've found a way to build an accountability. Most of us who are small business owners, if we're not working on our own, we have a very small team, and solopreneurs, we're doing it on our own. It is very difficult to build something on your own. Psychologically, we really need a sense of connection and community and a sense of accountability. So this is another mistake when we first take on creating a marketing plan. And if you've done it and you're looking at this and you're like, this is all resonating. This is why marketing plans in the past have not been able to really, they haven't been able to stick for you. So our first mistake is it's just too complicated. Most marketing plans are overly detailed and they're filled with jargon that us small business owners, we just don't need. Most of us who've come into business as a small business owner or a solopreneur, there's probably a skill, either professionally or personally, that we developed that we became really passionate about wanting to share it with others and wanting to create our own income from it. We usually have not come to business from a business background or a marketing background to make it even worse. So if our plans are filled with jargon and they're really, really complex with a lot of unnecessary information, they get really overwhelming for us. When we have these really bloated marketing plans, what happens is that they're very exhausting. They're very overwhelming. And even worse, if we do manage to get through the process of creating them, we park them in our Google folder and it just stays there. we don't end up doing anything with them. So we have invested time and energy, and then we get no results out of it. And we all know as small business owners, we need results out of the things that we do. It's very important that we run efficiently because we do not have extra time or energy to spare. So when it comes to creating your marketing plan for 2025, simpler is better. A good plan will give you clarity on what to do, when to do it, and how it helps your business grow. That is the entire point of your marketing plan as you put it together. So think of your marketing plan like a map with clear, actionable steps. It should guide you without weighing you down. If you open up your marketing plan and you're like, ugh, it's not the right plan for you, it should feel like dating myself. But when you used to go on a road trip and you had printed out like the Yahoo maps and you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, I understand. Now, next is this, next is this. That is what a marketing plan is supposed to feel like. A good marketing plan, you can understand it and you can act on it. That's why it's a plan. That's the whole purpose of it. If it's really weighed down, then it's not the right plan for you. And that is a mistake that is super common because most marketing plans are designed for really large organizations or really large businesses. So mistake number two, it's just not realistic. I talk a lot about getting caught in the random acts of marketing trap. This is one of my soapboxes I'm up on. One of my missions to save small business owners and solopreneurs from random acts of marketing, because almost every kind of marketing can work, but it does not mean we want to take it all on. And it does not mean that it's the right fit for us. But what happens as small business owners is we hear about one thing, we hear about another one. Someone suggests, oh, you need to have an email list. Someone suggests you need to be on YouTube. Someone suggests you should do flyers. Direct mail is the best advertising to do. And we jump from one thing to the other, and we get caught in random acts of marketing. With your marketing plan, when it's not realistic, this is very easy to fall into because we'll jump from one thing to the next to the next. So traditional marketing plans often assume there's a big team and a big budget because traditionally marketing plans are really meant to be internal documents. They're meant to be a way for one department to know what the other department is doing. That's not how we're going to use them. They're mostly just for us. Maybe contractors that we bring on, maybe a coach if we're bringing that on, but this is not an interdepartment document, which is one of the reasons why the plan ends up being really, really complicated. But it's also why we end up making it very unrealistic. So it's just unrealistic for small business owners. We don't have huge teams and we don't have big budgets. Another soapbox I get up on quite commonly is you should have a marketing budget. If you want to grow your business and you want to be, excuse me, a legitimate business owner and you want to leverage the power of marketing, then you're going to want to have a marketing budget. Generally, you want to have between 5 to 10% of your revenue earmarked for a marketing budget. If you're not doing that yet, make that one of your goals for 2025. You need money to invest in your marketing, either, even if you're DIYing it, you still want to have money for things like some professional photos, maybe bringing in a consultant to help you with the strategy part and you can execute it, maybe bringing in a contractor to help you with some pieces of it, but you do want to have a budget, but we're never going to have a really huge budget, right? Your budget grows with you, which is why it's a percentage, but when we look at our marketing plan for the year, we don't want to get caught in that trap of being unrealistic. Small business owners are often wearing all of the hats. I say a lot to my clients and the people I'm coaching that you need to put on your CMO hat, your Chief Marketing Officer hat. Even if you intend on contracting out your marketing, you need to own it. As the business owner, you need to understand it. You don't need to know all of marketing. You don't need to be professionally trained in it. You don't need to know the nitty-gritty, but you need to own it. But we're also wearing, the technician hat, the bookkeeper hat, the admin hat. We're wearing all of the hats. And these type of plans simply don't fit your day-to-day reality. If you're creating a marketing plan for 2025 and you're trying to have all of these things that you're going to do where you're going to be on YouTube, you're going to be in direct mail, you're going to be launching an email list, and you don't have a huge team to help you do that or the skill sets, it's completely unrealistic. So your marketing plan should meet you where you are. That is the whole point of a plan, right? A plan needs to be where we are and then the steps to take to get to where we want to go. With small businesses, it's really important that we're efficient. It's really important that we're leaning into that 20/80 rule, because what happens is small, consistent actions, they're what drives growth. That's what Karu has done over the year, is she has taken small, consistent actions. We don't have a huge budget and we don't have a huge amount of time and energy to pour into our marketing, but we don't need to. Even with limited resources, a simple and focused plan will work. That is the result that Karu has seen towards the end of this year. And all year long, she's been comparing her monthly revenue compared to the previous year. And even though a lot of other businesses have seen things reduce, she's watched her steadily climb. And it's because of this commitment to small, consistent actions. So when you're looking at creating your marketing plan for January or for 2025, you want to start small and stay focused. Unless you suddenly have had a huge budget open up for marketing, or you've brought on a marketing person on your team, which is probably not the case if you're here, you're watching this on the replay. It's just you, which means you have to start small. Anything we do, we start small and we build up, right? We don't want to be trying to go for this huge project or a whole bunch of projects and taking it all on and then getting overwhelmed and not being able to execute and then not getting to the results of anything. That's quite often what happens with marketing, is that we take too much on at once and we're never able to execute anything to the point where we see the ROI. Marketing will always bring an ROI if we're able to do something properly. So you want to start small and you want to stay focused. A small marketing can't do everything, or sorry, a small business, we can't do everything, but we can do what matters most. And that's enough to drive growth. In my campaign bootcamp in the summer, what was really interesting is that for everybody in that, it was their first time creating a campaign. So there was a lot of work where some of us still had to build landing pages and the funnel pieces. Some of us were creating a lot of videos and those type of creative assets. But what they recognized is that next year, they don't have to start from scratch again. Next year, they get to build on that. So just being really focused and being really realistic means we get to keep building up on stuff. So mistake number 3, no accountability. This is across the board in business, a very challenging part of being a small business owner and a solopreneur. Ton of advantages, the flexibility, the ownership we have of how our business is going and who we work with. This is one of the pieces that we want to bring in extra components to help balance out. Every successful business owner I know has incorporated this in some way. They've engineered a way to build an accountability. So most plans don't include accountability. And without it, even the best plans get forgotten or, I can't remember the last word there, abandoned. If you have done a plan and you have never come back to it, it's not your fault. It's because psychologically, it's very difficult to keep something top of mind if there's no accountability built into it. And as small business owners and solopreneurs, we are probably very, very busy trying to do a lot of stuff. We are probably, not probably, 100%. We have a million things going on, and we have a million things that feel much more pressing than a business plan we created in January and what intentions we had set for every month. It is so easy to get pulled into putting out immediate fires or into dealing with what's immediately in front of us that we just lose track of anything that we tried to do. This is why accountability is really important. And without it, it leads to guilt, frustration, and even worse, missed opportunities. We will never be able to take advantage of every opportunity in front of us, but if we're just getting some key ones over the year, it creates a significant difference in our business. If we don't have the accountability to help us stay on track, we miss out on that. And we blame ourselves for it. And we get frustrated, both that our business isn't growing the way we want it to be, and we get frustrated with ourselves. So accountability turns a plan into progress by keeping you focused and consistent. Even the best plans won't work without action, and accountability helps make sure that actions happen. A plan is worth nothing if you don't take action on it. That's the whole ROI out of your marketing plan is aligned action, the actual execution of it. And accountability is a key piece behind that. So those are 3 reasons that plans tend to fail. If you've done a plan before and it's failed, you can probably see one of these pieces were in play, maybe all 3. Too complicated. It wasn't realistic for the fact that you were a small business owner, and there was no system for accountability. So now that we have that, we understand what not to do. Let's talk about what we do want to do when we look into our marketing plan for 2025. Here are the 5 steps to create a plan that you'll actually stick to. And I know this, I am the most squirrely person that ever existed. I am super scattered, not the most structured person by nature. And I have been able to create enough structure and enough support within the way I approach my business that even somebody like me who does not have that personality naturally has been able to I'm at the point I completely support my household on my business. I get off of I close work down at about 2 1 actually. I get dinner prepped, I pick up my kids, we have dinner. I have a lot of room in my schedule because I've designed it that way and because I've built my business to the place where I am making the income I need working the hours I want to work. So this works for people, regardless of how squirrely you are, regardless of how much you might feel like, I make all these plans, but I don't stick to them. This is what you need to be able to stick to it. Here are the 5 steps. We're going to go through each one. Keep it simple. Step 2, align with your business goals. I say this a lot. Marketing is meant to be integrated into your business. It's not meant to be siloed out. It's not meant to be something that is detached. It is a core department of your business, which is why you need to put it on your CMO hat. Step 3, make it manageable. We will only be able to act on it if we are realistic about it. Also, as a business owner, this is a skill set you want to develop. You want to know what you're capable of doing, and you want to focus on making things as manageable as possible. Step 4, building in accountability. And then step 5, remember to celebrate. This is something that highly driven people who tend to be solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, we tend to be highly driven. We can kind of skip over it, but it actually fuels the productivity. So it's a really important piece. So step 1, keep it simple. Focus only on the essentials that will actually move the needle for your business. So to get really, really tangible for this, when you're looking at your marketing plan, you want to look at your goals, your tactics, and your timelines. We really don't need much else in our marketing plan than that. Your goal is, what do you want to achieve? Be very specific. In 2025, what do you want to achieve in your business? Your tactic. What actions will help you reach that goal? This is the piece. It does help to bring in someone who understands marketing well to help you decide on the tactic. In general, I usually advise people, if you know something is already working or there's a skill set you or the team already have, use that tactic. If you are a writer by nature, you're good at it and you like to do it, email list or blogging or long form social media. Do not be like, maybe I should start YouTube. If you are not in the space or the energy to develop a whole new marketing skill set of producing videos and being on camera, don't use that tactic. We don't need to use all of the tactics and we want to be efficient. So really looking at what skills do I already have and how can I use them in my marketing is the best way to do it. Timelines. When will you execute these actions? This is what starts to create a roadmap, right? Very clear, very simple. Example for this, let's say you are a physiotherapist and your goal in 2025 is you'd really like to get 10 new leads per month. Let's say you're bringing in 30 leads and you want to increase that by 10. Then a tactic, let's say you're good at writing, you love to write, it's something that you've done enough of, that your skill set's good and it fills your heart. It's genuinely something you can sit down and do out of a place of fulfillment and satisfaction. So your tactic could be send a biweekly email newsletter with valuable content and a call to action to book in a call. And then your timeline is schedule it for the 1st and 15th every month. This is a roadmap you can come back to time and time again to remind you this is what I'm doing. It's clear, it's actionable. Step two for creating your marketing plan is align it with your business goals. Marketing is not done for the sake of doing marketing. It's not done for clicks. It's not done for audience. It's not done for open rates. It's done for revenue growth or whatever your business goal is. For most of us, it's revenue growth. Your marketing plan should be directly tied to your business goals and growth. This is a really important part of business development. It's very difficult to develop your business without marketing, but it's also very difficult to do marketing well without an understanding of business development. So this is another reason why it needs to be integrated. You need to really understand it on a high level. It's not just about understanding social media. It's about understanding how does marketing fit into the big picture. If you want to hit a specific revenue target in 2025, your plan needs to outline how marketing will contribute to achieving that goal. That's the beauty of these plans, is it's not just this year I'm going to build my social media audience by 300. No. That's not what we're doing with your marketing. And this is why it creates actual revenue growth when done this way. This is why Carew has seen the highest sales day. One of our targets for her was bringing in increasing foot traffic because she already had staff there. So the more people who were coming in, the higher ROI for the expense she already had. She already had her overhead for operations and she already was staffing. So that was one of her goals, which ironically, and this is about keeping it active, because we increased the foot traffic so much during the holiday season, her store got so busy that some of the other goals that we had set of running some online stuff, she just didn't have the time for because they were more labor intensive. There was an advent calendar and it just wasn't going to work. So it's about adjusting as you go, right? So an example for getting really specific, tying your marketing to your business goals is this. Let's say you are a higher end clothing store and one of your goals is to grow your revenue by 50K in 2025. So the plan is that your average product sale is say about $100. Most people who purchase, that's about how much they'll purchase at once, which means if you do the math, you need 500 sales this year. Then we want to break that down. So that's 42 sales per month or about 10 sales per week. If we know for every, let's say, 50 people that come in the store, one person will turn into that $100 sale. We now have an understanding that we need, I'm not great at math, 500 extra people to come into the store that week. Then we can look really realistically. A lot of times people ask me, what should I do for my marketing? I'm like, we need to look at your business. So if you understand breaking this down, you would need to increase your foot traffic by 500 more people in the store. You can then look at the numbers. If you're already getting like a good 2,000 people in your store every week and you have you're in a busy downtown, that might be possible. We might look at signage, maybe cross promotion with some other stores that are within walking distance, really upping your display, your window display. That actually might be the way to do your marketing. Then you decide what type of marketing to do. If you look at that and you're in a quieter town, you're already only getting so many people in and you feel like you've probably maximized that. You might decide that kind of in-place marketing is not the way to go, but your online store is a good potential channel to bring in those sales. Maybe you're going to double down on online because you can deliver. People can order remotely. They don't have to be downtown. They don't have to be foot traffic. So then instead you focus on your online marketing and reaching new people for your e-commerce store. So tying your marketing plans for the next year to your business plans and the reality of your business is a really strong way to make sure it's something you stick to. Step 3, making it manageable. We are quite often one person or a small team. If it's not manageable, marketing will get thrown out the window. For good reason. We are quite often running around like chickens with our heads cut off, just trying to keep up with the daily stuff. So we want to be very graceful around the way we bring marketing into our business, especially if it's not something you've already done a lot of and you're just learning how to do it. In order to avoid burnout, we want to focus on efficiency and what is realistic for you as a small business owner. And not just burnout, but avoidance. If we understand this is not going to be realistic for us and it feels like a huge burden, we're going to get that like and we're going to find a million justifications for why we're not doing it. We will just completely avoid it. So one of the ways we want to look at this for 2025 is batching and scheduling marketing tasks. And that can save you time and keep your plan manageable. Being efficient and having productivity skills is a really important part of business ownership, especially as solopreneurs and small business owners. We are trying to do the work of a lot of different people. And the reason large organizations start to specialize is because that's more efficient. That is not our reality. We are not going to do that. Even if you bring on contractors, you still need to understand what those contractors are doing, which means we need to be masters of efficiency. It's a really great opportunity. So, an example of this, instead of scrambling daily to post on social media in your marketing plan, you want to have it that you're going to spend 2 to 4 hours at the beginning of the month planning and scheduling posts for the next 30 days. It's the most efficient way to do it. And it also gives you your brain space back. I know so many business owners who create so much chaos and stress in their minds because they always have this nagging doubt in the back of their mind and not nagging thought in the back of their mind of, oh, what am I going to post today? I got to remember to post today. I said I was going to post today. What should I post today? Am I going to do that? Oh, I didn't post today. We can free up that brain space and that cognitive energy by doing this type of thing and making it very manageable and earmarking the time. This is another soapbox I get up on. I'm going to give you this here today so that you understand the structure you're going to want to give yourself in 2025 in your marketing plan. This is like the budget. If you want the results of marketing, this is one of the inputs you need to have. You need to have time dedicated to it. You can't expect to have marketing that produces anything if you have not time blocked any space in your schedule for marketing. So this is my simple marketing schedule that I recommend all of my clients start with. At the very least, this is the foundation. Usually, as soon as we start marketing and we see the results, we expand this because we want more of those results. But this is where I recommend you start. That batching is the one a month. So we have one a year, one a month, and one a week. Marketing meetings you have with yourself. Once a month is that batching where you dedicate a day, half a day, depending on how much marketing you're doing each month to plan and set up your marketing activities. This is where you do your batching of social media or your emails. This is where you do, if your events, you post on all the local boards or in the local groups. This is where you refer back to your marketing plan every month and see what you said you were going to do. Once a week is a couple of hours. You sit down and check in with your marketing. This is just keeping your thumb on the pulse point, seeing comments, engaging with other profiles, other businesses that you're trying to collaborate with, watching your emails, checking your website traffic, just keeping your eye on it. And once a year is when you should sit down, set aside a good amount of time. I say it's usually about 8 to 10 hours. You can do it all at once if you're super into going like full in, spread it out if you want to do it that way. And once a year, you're going to build your annual marketing plan, which is going to give you the roadmap for what you're going to do once a month. And I have a group program that I do every January. We spread it out over 4 weeks. So we have an hour of live training and then you have an hour of homework. It works out to about 8 to 10 hours, depending on how you work and how deep you go into it. Regardless of how you do it, put in your schedule these meetings with yourself. If you want the results of marketing, you need the time blocks for marketing. So schedule these in. We're in a beautiful space of the year. Start with your marketing plan, get that big overview, really decide what you want for 2025, create the intention behind it and the vision, and then break it down into actionable plans for every month. Keep it manageable and realistic, right? Honor the fact that you are a small business owner or solopreneur, plus you're also probably a parent, a partner, an active member in the community. You know, we have lots of other things going on in our lives. So be really mindful of that, but give yourself these marketing meetings once a year, once a month, and once a week. It's really not that much time. Step 4 is building accountability. We've talked about this, so we're going to go into it again. This is like if you want to win at the game of business, this is the card you want in your back pocket because it is what fuels the rest of everything we're trying to do. Without accountability, even the best plans can and most likely will fall apart. It's very difficult to keep anything top of mind. That is one of the challenges to any habit we're trying to create, whether it's a fitness or wellness habit, whatever it is. Keeping something top of mind is very difficult. There's always stimulus around us that's going to take over that brain space. Accountability helps to keep it top of mind. There's nothing like knowing you have a meeting with your coach in 2 days and be like, oh my God, I didn't do that stuff I said I was going to do. Suddenly you find the time to do it. That type of fuel really drives us forward. So you want to regularly review your progress, and that makes your plan stay relevant and actionable. Like I was talking about with Karu and her tea shop, when we were looking at things and we recognized that her store was getting super busy and it was taking up the time from the staff, we were able to adjust how she was going to focus in the next couple of months. So we are able to keep the plan relevant and actionable. Whereas if we're not really staying attuned to what's happening, that plan becomes quickly irrelevant. We all know business changes quickly, right? We cannot sit here in December or January and accurately 100% predict how next November is going to be. So it regularly reviewing and staying in contact with where we are and what we had planned helps keep it relevant and actionable. So examples for this is going to be weekly check-ins with yourself if you need to, spending 30 minutes every Monday reviewing your KPIs. This can be one of your weekly meetings. You can incorporate this into your weekly meetings. I highly recommend it. Keeping an eye on what's actually happening, and then getting an accountability partner. If there's anything you come away from this webinar with, this is the one. This and doing your actual marketing plan for 2025. Create a plan and get yourself an accountability partner. Yeah, you can partner up with another small business owner, with a coach, a mentor. I find bi-weekly is a really good pace. Monthly can work too. And you want to share your goals and your progress. You want to be asked like, okay, where are you? Here's what you had laid out in January. How's that gone? How did it go this month? What do you want to incorporate moving forward? What's not a fit? And we won't need to roll that into your plan for next year. You really, really want to have somebody who's in it with you. Really important, and it's a great business hack, especially if you find another small business owner, you can do that for each other, right? If you don't have the budget for a coach, coaches are nice because they can also give you support in the skills developments and that type of stuff. But if you're not in that space or it's not your vibe, find another small business owner. Do it for each other. And then you're sharing your journey together, which is also really nice. And step 5 is to remember to celebrate. Psychologically, this is important. Emotionally as well, but I'm like everybody who's a small business owner, entrepreneur, I'm highly driven, so I like the psychological aspect of it. Small wins lead to big growth, but they're often overlooked because we are usually focused on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, both culturally, but especially as entrepreneurs. We quite often do not pay attention to what has just happened, to the little wins. We're looking for the next big one, right? We have our focus on our big goal, which is important, but we want to also tap into the benefit of the increase in sustainability and productivity we get from recognizing and celebrating these small wins. Celebrating progress, no matter how small, it keeps us motivated, it reinforces consistency, and it makes the process more enjoyable. We need to be here for the journey, not the destination. It's really important as business owners. You'll get yourself to a point and then you'll be like, oh, yeah, no, there's more now. It never ends. There's always more. There's never really that one destination. You reach a new level and it's like starting over again because now it's new. You never really hit a point where you're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm totally done. Check mark. Doesn't happen. It's always a beautiful journey of continued expansion. So we want to enjoy the process of this, which means we want to celebrate. And even more, it creates more productivity. It allows us to keep going. It allows us to avoid burnout. It allows us to really give our all to our business because we're refueling ourselves. So an example, Really easy to celebrate. They don't have to be huge things. When you hit your goal of your 10 leads this month, celebrate with a small treat. Your favorite coffee, a team lunch. This is my favorite. Investing in something small that supports your business. I've had a really incredible year because I created my 2024 marketing plan last year. I stuck with it, lots of imperfect action. But because of that, I've seen really significant accomplishments and achievements this year. So my present to myself is that I'm going to take a certificate in community economic development. I am a student by nature. I love learning, and to be able to go into a structured program where someone's going to teach me really feels like a treat to me. So that's my way of investing and celebrating my wins. When you reach a milestone, like completing your quarter's marketing plan, like even if you're like, I actually did it, I actually followed through with what I said I was going to do. And that's a win because every improvement is a win. It's a move, it's a step forward in our progress. Share it with your team. Sharing can be a great way to celebrate. Share it with your accountability partner. If you're going to have an accountability partner, I highly recommend wins being part of that process, or on social media. If you look at my social media, I love to share my wins and my client wins. It's fun to open that up to your network, and it's like really positive energy to put into social media. So remember to celebrate. So those are our 5 steps to create a plan I keep saying January because that's when I'm doing it with my group. But if you do it in December, that's fine. If you do it in March, that's fine. Just create a marketing plan for yourself for 2025. And remember to follow these 5 steps. It'll help you avoid those really common mistakes. Keep it simple. Focus on what you need, only on what you need as a business owner, where your business is. Step 2, align with your business goals. Make sure you really understand what you want out of this marketing, and you do some basic math and some basic breakdown to know what the marketing would need to do to give you that result. Step 3, make it manageable. Be realistic about where you are and what time you have. Give yourself a budget, give yourself a schedule, give yourself the time to do it, but recognize it's about small, consistent steps, not huge taking on everything at once. It will build up as you go. Step 4, build an accountability. Find an accountability partner. If you have the money or the budget and your marketing budget, you can use that to invest in a coach, or grants are really good for that as well. If that's your vibe, some people don't like working with one-on-one like that. A lot of people do, a lot of people don't. If you'd rather find another business owner, I do recommend it being someone in business. It's very hard to have the same kind of accountability with someone who doesn't understand being an entrepreneur. But build that in. Find somebody else. It is very hard to stay accountable to yourself, regardless of how disciplined you are. Really, really connect with somebody else over this. A mentor will also work if you're lucky enough to have a mentor in your life. That's a beautiful relationship to have. And step 5, remember to celebrate. Do not keep steamrolling ahead. Remember, this is part of productivity. It is an investment in your ability to keep producing for your business. So take moments, look for the wins, share the wins, acknowledge and celebrate them, even in little small ways. It does not have to be huge ways. So that's what I want you to do when you create your marketing plan for this year. If there's only 2 things you walk away with here today, I might bump it up to 3. Create your marketing plan. The second one is get those 3 marketing meetings in your calendar. Book them in once a week, once a month, once a year. You might not stick to them at the start, but at least start building that concept into your schedule. And then the third one is get an accountability partner of some kind. You could do a group. Sometimes that's a really lovely one. If you have a group of people you can bring together, if you have one person that you want to work with, if you want to bring on a coach or a mentor, but get an accountability partner. Those are the 3 things I'd like you to really walk away with here today. And if you do want to do a marketing plan intensive where you go through a group program and you create your marketing plans together, I have my intensive is open for applications right now. I have quite a group already started. I'm really excited. It's going to be a lovely group of small business owners, and it will include live trainings, and the replays will be available to watch because sometimes we cannot make it live. And it includes some one-on-one, so I can really help get some professional insight into your business and help you narrow in on some of those tactics and give you some new ideas and clarify things. I'm very good at clarifying it and making it simpler so you can kind of cut through the noise and really understand what you want to focus on. It will be a 4-week program. We'll be meeting in Mondays in January, and then you'll be able to have that really incredible marketing plan to follow through for a full year. And you can see results like Haru. Accountability partner, though. You're going to want that part, because quite often what happens is that we make the plan and then we do not follow through on the plan. So you want accountability partner. But if you want to grow your business, this is an important piece of it. It's very important. You do not try. I don't want to say it's important you don't try to do it without it. We can get so far, but if you want to leverage the power of marketing and you want to do this in a way that you're not wasting your time and energy, a marketing plan is a big piece of that. And I want that for every small business owner. I want that for every solopreneur, because I want to see you guys grow and thrive and build your businesses. So create a marketing plan for yourself for 2025. Get an accountability buddy and start building into your schedule some regular time to work on your marketing. Okay, I am going to stop the recording and then open it up for questions and answers for anybody that wants to do that. Thanks, guys.